All right, welcome into a Wednesday edition of PhillyVoice SportsBets. Eytan Shander, upper left, surrounded by green, and I assume that reflects on money that was made on Monday night. We will hit on that. Myself, Harry Mays, and of course Devin Caney with you. And what we might as well start looking back at Monday night. We had, I know you and I love the Ravens, Eytan. I had them on the money line, and I hit that Justin Tucker over 7.5 points, as I think he ended up with 8. A couple of field goals in the second half. They hit on a bunch of touchdowns. How successful was it for you? Because my college basketball parlay did not hit.
No, trust me. I know. I played that college basketball parlay. I don't know. I don't know if your Temple Owls have disbanded yet, but I would be okay if they had following that loss to Wagon.
I would too. I would be okay if 10 guys transferred out of the program tonight.
Oh my goodness. No, I think the biggest thing for me was, we talked about this, Baltimore -3. That was the big look ahead I had at the start of the week. So then it shifts and it drops back down to 1.5, whatever the two of you, I believe, were talking about jumping on Monday's show. So for me, I just pushed it back, Baltimore -3, which is essentially a bet boost because that's where I was at the start of the week anyway. I still like that team to cover the 3. So I took them again at the plus money. And then the other things, look, our kicking props worked. Yours went over Tucker. Mine was just the over 3.5 total field goals in the game. And then the only other thing, which again, it just goes back to history, team history, that you have to look at, especially if the coaching stays consistent. And that's under the 2.5 touchdowns for New Orleans and under the team total. I think it was 20.5 team total. So those are the ones that were fun that we gave you on this very show. Just wanted to recap that.
Yeah, I told you guys on Monday that I had a really good Sunday betting wise. Like literally all my bets hit. Eytan, I know you mentioned Seahawks. I feel like I'm just gonna ride the Seahawks for the rest of the season. I'm officially a Geno Smith fan, but Monday night, not so much. No, not a great night for me. I had that Alvin Kamara 30+ rushing yards in each half. Did not hit. I threw kind of like a Hail Mary right before the game started because it was plus 1,800 on FanDuel, and it was each team to score a touchdown and a field goal in each half. Did not happen either. So I did have the Ravens though covering, and at least I have that. But otherwise, Monday night, not so great for me.
Watch out for this Ravens team now over the second half of this season. They're going to get healthier. They're going to go into their bye week, and I just think they're going to get on a roll. So I'm really liking the fact that I took them back in August to win their division because I think that's going to be a mortal lock. But anyway, I saw some halfway numbers yesterday on the NFL season because they've played 136 games and there's 136 games to go. So we're right at the midway point. And favorites straight up are 81, 52, and 1. So that's 61% favorites straight up with 2 pick'ems. Against the number, the underdogs, 57.8%, 74, 54, and 6. And home teams only hitting at 55.3%, which is kind of interesting. 73, 59, and 1. That's actually straight up. And road teams against the number, 51.2%, and the unders are still killing it at 59%, 79, 55, and 2. I thought those numbers were kind of interesting.
79, 59, and 2. That really jumps out.
79, 55, and 2. 55, yeah, for unders.
Even
for
better.
Unders. Yeah, right.
Even better.
Right.
Wow.
Yep.
Because we know everybody hates to bet unders. Nobody wants to sit there and be the unpopular person at the bar or where have you. Doesn't matter where it is, even on like a text chain. You don't want to be the unpopular person. It's like, yes, they just missed a field goal. Where everybody
think about the casinos because they're usually on underdogs and unders, right? And the underdogs and unders are performing.
It's been the season of the unders so far. And especially last week or the last like 2-3 weeks, I felt like the weeks of the underdogs. So yeah, I guess not the most fun choices, but I do feel like when I give out my best bets, it's always like, I like the under. And it is kind of a lame bet, but it works this season, so I'll take it.
Yep. I agree.
All right. As far as a total for a look ahead, the only total I'm looking at right here is the Eagles game on Monday night against Washington. I took over 44.
Really?
Yeah.
Why?
Because I just think the Eagles are going to put up close to 30, and I think Washington will score. I think they'll score at least 17.
Interesting.
Yeah.
That's that total. Why? I mean, I wouldn't play the 10.5 just from a division standpoint. You kind of don't need to. Maybe you take them at all. but 44 is a little low number.
The hook scares me with the 10.5 because I could easily see Washington backdooring that thing to 10.
Here's what I would be concerned about, and I'm not countering this yet. Friday, I think I'll have a better read on this game because I was looking a lot at Thursday and the London game for our show today. But the one thing to look at, remember, we talked about this on this show before the quarterback switch, because it was even before the Carson Wentz injury, right around that time, where Ron Rivera made that very under-discussed switch on defense and benched a couple of current starters. Since then, 7, 21, 16, and 20. So they are hanging in games, and they do have a chance to backdoor cover, but that's usually low-scoring games. So if you like Washington to score, there's probably a better chance they do get blown out. Like,
I like them to score at least 17. I mean, that's it.
That's a lot.
30 to 17 gets you there easily.
That's a lot, man, asking for this Commanders team.
Well, I don't know how I feel about the total in tomorrow's game, in the Thursday night football game, because I think it could go either way. I mean, the last time we saw, like, the Falcons' pass defense is just so bad that they make any teams, no matter who. I think the Panthers' quarterback situation is still a little bit unknown right now. But
Probably PJ Walker.
Yeah, I think
probably.
it's PJ.
Is it going to be PJ? Okay.
Probably.
Yep.
And I think Chuba Hubbard's going to play. I think he practiced yesterday.
So do you think it could be, I feel like it could go either way. Like, it could either be a high scoring game from both sides or kind of just Falcons running the game. I don't know. I can't decide if I like the over under for that one.
That's a stinky game, man. I don't even want to watch it.
But I kind of love it.
You do?
I love it. Yeah, it's like, well, what they played like 2 weeks ago. And I don't know. It's like I think the Falcons are better than we expected. I don't want to call them a good team. But I think, like, the way that the Falcons offense matches up with their opponents, especially the Panthers, like, their last game was entertaining, went to overtime. So I don't know. It could be a fun one.
Yeah, I think this game it's not a trap in the misused common sense of like, oh, that's a trap game. Like, Atlanta's not looking ahead. Carolina's not looking ahead. But I feel like people are going to look at this game and reason in their own head one of those plays. And I don't know if, like, there's so much volatility on either side of what you laid out, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, Atlanta could score 30 points and throw the football 12 times.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And we're looking back like, they ran heavy, but they scored a shit ton of points. And that's just, we see that with the Eagles, where you can gain chunk yards on the ground, and all of a sudden that moves the scoreboard faster than the clock.
Mm-hmm.
But on the other side, nobody would be shocked if this were another stinker 13-7 type game.
Yeah.
So what's the one thing that I think we can first off, if like laying 3 for Atlanta, this is where I stop. We've been riding Atlanta all year, but this is equivalent to a 9-point neutral field, which is absurd for anybody in this scenario for Atlanta to be laying. Now, with that said, I do think that there are a couple of things we know. Like, the one thing we know is that Atlanta's going to run on anybody, right? Like, that. So you've got Patterson at 51.5, Mariota at 29.5. Now, Allgeier's a little tricky at 32.5, but maybe you pick him up at like a longest rush, although he's not available. But Mariota's longest rush is like 12.5. Yeah. Patterson's longest rush is 14.5. So that's where I think you could target even Patterson, like 63.5 for Russian receiving. He can get that on the ground on his own. So that's where I think I'm most confident now, is targeting what I know, no matter what Carolina does, and no matter what the game is at the end of the score is part of it at the end of the game, Atlanta's going to run the football.
Yeah, I think so. Cordarrelle Patterson was where I did that just as kind of a standalone bet on top of what I had on Sunday, because it was his first game back. So I was like, oh, he's definitely going to get the first touchdown. And that was like plus 850 on FanDuel. So I don't know if I'd go with first touchdown for him in this one, but yeah, I think any prop involving Cordarrelle Patterson and yardage, touchdowns, anything with him is going to probably be your safest bet.
These two teams combined for 34 points in the fourth quarter. The last time they played a few weeks ago.
Yeah,
that game was nuts.
There is that, man, right? Like, this has two bad NBA teams scoring $140 each written all over it.
It really does.
Right? Like, this is the Houston Rockets and the Magic racing to $150. And they're like 12 deep right? Like you're going
Right.
to see guys. We hit them last week on this random moonshot, Blackshear, right? Like the third string running back who stepped in and scored a garbage touchdown for Carolina. Like, it's crazy here. But no, that's it for me in this game. I think you target what you know, and Carolina has disappointed. Disappointed. They just fired 2 more coaches. So that's even
They did?
right. Yeah, right.
Oh,
Before
wow.
this game. So now all of a sudden you've got more slack than other people. It's like any job where somebody gets fired down the line from you, like, oh man, this person got fired. Now I got to pick up their job. I got to do more work. No pay, but more work.
And
right?
a short week.
In a short week, too.
Right.
Like the deadline's the same. They
Yeah.
fired the person next to you. The deadline hasn't changed, and you're not getting any more work.
Right.
And the position coach is thinking right now.
And Atlanta played at home last week, and this is really no travel for them. So you don't really have to worry about, that combined with a short week.
No.
So
I'm with you. This game is garbage, but I'll watch it.
now, the college game that jumps out to me, I think it might be the best game of the week on an otherwise kind of lame weekend. UCF travels to Tulane. This is the battle for the American Conference in essence. And Tulane's pretty good this year. So is UCF. UCF is getting points on the road with an explosive offense. This Reese Plumlee quarterback, they transferred in a couple years ago, has done a great job with Gus Malzahn's offense. They got a three-prong rushing attack that they're sort of like what you just described with Atlanta. Like they can put up a ton of points and hardly throw the football, and they score quickly. I'm taking UCF plus the 2. I think they win outright.
Ooh.
I'll probably take them on the money line too.
Yeah, I was going to ask.
I think they're the better team. Tulane's having a nice year, but I think they get exposed.
That's not bad, man. What's the total, or what's the money line on that?
Let me
120
check on that.
You
It's
said
got to
2?
be something low. Yeah,
Right.
it's 2. But yeah,
I mean, why not at that point, right?
yeah. I think UCF is a good football team.
Yeah, I agree. That's a sneaky play because I think people may stay away from. By the way, 2 is the only key number left in college, right? These teams don't kick worth shit anymore. And the only thing you have to care about now is this triple overtime, because that will kill any lay 3 or more bet. So I would just take them outright.
Yeah, now I'm not even seeing a darn money line on this app. Doggone it.
On the app?
Terrible. It was on my Yahoo Sports app. They usually give all the point spreads and sometimes the money lines.
The money line is plus 115 on DraftKings.
Okay. All right.
All right.
There you go. There you go.
There you go. Now, I the only thing that I would look at from a college standpoint before we, because we have to talk about this London. I know we're going to talk about a lot.
It's Germany this week. I think.
Germany.
Yeah,
Sorry,
yeah.
not London game.
Yeah.
There's this angle has worked now for a couple of straight weeks, and just want to pound that one more time. But here comes Tennessee in a pretty interesting situation, right? And I think if you just look at what we saw last week, right, how disappointing and everything that was for their season. They're laying 20.5 at Missouri. I'd be inclined right now to lay 7 in the first half, or in the first quarter, at plus 105, and then double that down at minus 11.5 in the first half, and then wash my hands clean of this football game. Because you would think that if there's any sign of life left, if there's a pulse left of this Tennessee team, it's going to be right out against the team that they should be able to put their hands on and move in Missouri.
The only thing that worries me about that play is that sometimes when these teams lose a game where they sit back and say, man, our season could be over. The next week they come out even flatter and sometimes lose again outright. That can happen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you know what? I don't have to bet this right now. So this game starts in 3 days. And I wonder if I'm going to see that, because I wonder if Tennessee starts taking some heat and maybe this moves a little bit more. So I'd rather that's what I'm anticipating. So I think this is going to be 7.5 first quarter by kick. And I think this is probably going to be up to like 12.5 first half by kick. So I want to get in now before people, like you mentioned, Harry, get wind of this and think, oh, well, or the opposite, where I don't think it's going to move Missouri, but we'll see. I get what you're saying.
All right. Now the NFL is in Europe again this week. I know you guys are loving the Seahawks now. All of a sudden, they've sort of become a pet team of this
I've
show.
been on Seahawk Island for, I don't know, 3 full weeks. So
and Eytan's had Pete Carroll as coach of the year since freaking July.
1. Come on. And you won't buy that ticket from me, will you? All right, since Tom Brady, since Gisele Bündchen, the power player in this relationship, mind you, and this is key because you have to apply that. This is not just a typical thing where player X is left by wife A and you've never heard of this person before, or you only follow them on Instagram, what have you. This is a power player. And imagine the type of power that you need to have in order to be a power player in a relationship with Tom Brady. Here's the point. Since Gisele Bündchen left, the winner of the relationship left, Tom Brady is 1-3 straight up, 0-3-1 against the spread. By the way, that push last week was saved by a last-second heave to Eytan. This is a perfect combination of the overachieving football team led by the coach who just won't die. No, he's the villain that just keeps coming back, and Pete Carroll, versus a team in Tampa right now who is despondent. All Tom Brady wants to do is hug his kids, and it's another road trip. In this case, he's walking the streets of Munich. So I took Seattle money line. I took the points. I laid 120 plus 3. I took Seattle first half. I took Seattle plus 1.5 first half. I'm taking Seattle until I'm out of money on the DraftKings.
You realize this is probably a 14-hour plane ride for the Seahawks to get to Munich, right?
Well,
that's a long trip.
Yeah. Do we know? Are they there already? Like when?
Yeah.
No, I'm sure they're there. I'm sure they're there.
And they didn't go home either. Weren't they just in? They just won on the road, right?
Where'd they play? Well, they were in Arizona though, so it's not.
Yeah, that was.
No, but I bet that they left from Arizona to.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, they went. Yeah.
Yeah. Tom Brady had to. All right. So to your point, let's look at this just from a human element standpoint, and both of you have traveled plenty of times in your lives, so you can attest to this, right? There's a difference between, all right, you just finished work. Now you look over at your bed and it's like, all right, I got to pack all this crap up. I got to do this. Versus you're packing for a quasi trip for then your big trip. So Seattle already packed and got away from they're not flying back. So they're already in travel mode versus Tom Brady's got to go home, realize he can't see his kids, and then go to Germany and then see his kids. I'm telling you, this Bucs team's going to get blown out of. And look, here's the crazy thing about it. Tampa is still taking public money. Who has watched the Bucs over the last 3 or 4 weeks?
It's the Tom Brady effect and the Bucs, and that's what I saw someone tweeted about how the broadcasts do seem to be stuck in the Aaron Rodgers, Tom Brady, still talking about them like there's these elite quarterbacks, and it's just not a thing anymore. But most people aren't seeing that because it's Tom Brady.
Well, Brady
credit, it is hard to count out Tom Brady because I wouldn't be surprised if we saw a resurgence before the end of the season, but. Yeah, I have Seahawks.
He's been victimized by some drops too, by some key receivers that you typically don't expect to do that.
But that part of it though, Harry.
Yeah.
Where this is a bad football team.
Yeah. Well, we went under their win total back in August. We figured that this was going to happen.
Money, right? For that?
Yes, I did.
Yeah, it's smart.
So, all right. Do we want to move on from football to a little NBA?
Yeah, let's do it.
Because I don't know if Cherico's got something in his
by the way,
sport, but
real quick, I played this. I just want to get this out here because I jumped in on this, and I think it's just special. It's just defense. So I wanted to add this on the way out. It's just defense, and you can get this before we hit Cherico's NBA stuff. You can get this, I believe, still at a pretty good number. I just want to make sure. But I took this was the TD2 piece, if you will, the quick ladder. So I took the Atlanta. I keep wanting to go to Arizona for some reason. I took the Atlanta defense to score 1, and I took a small sprinkle on the Atlanta defense to score 2. So the anytime touchdown is plus 650, and the 2+ touchdowns is plus 9,500.
Wow.
Oh, so
that's a moonshot.
It is. And $15 wins you, $14.40, right? Minus the 15 you put down.
Right.
But point being is that as long as those odds are, and as better of a shot, mind you, as you have that as hitting the Powerball, hey, would it not make sense to you if PJ Walker turns the ball over, pick 6, even if Baker gets in, fumbles, right? So
how many pick sixes does Atlanta have so far this season, though? Because their pass defense is not good.
No. They're not. And here's the thing, though. It doesn't even have to be a pick six, right? It can just be their defense scoring in any capacity.
Oh, true. Yeah.
Right. So you're right, where this is probably factored into the line that their pass defense is so bad and that they probably don't need. My guess is that they don't have one pick six. And if they do, it's probably like a month ago, what have you. But that's probably baked into the plus 9,500. So the angle that I come up with, at least in my head, is that, well, maybe this drops it in real life to like plus 8,900 because they're going up against a team on offense that is even worse than what they are on defense. So, you know, that's all. You kind of rationalize it in some capacity.
No, I like that. I might have to tail you on that one.
Let's do it.
All right, I'm not sure if Jericho's got a play here, but I did notice you were bringing up the Utah Jazz in the last show, Eytan. They are 9-2-1 against the number. That's the best in the league.
Yep.
Followed by these three teams at 8-2 against the number: Portland, Cleveland, and the Milwaukee Bucks, 8-2 against the spread.
I can tell you all what that is real quick. So what Devin laid out with Tampa Bay is the exact opposite of Utah. People don't watch Utah. They don't know who's on Utah. They think Utah traded their top two players, therefore they suck.
Got rid of their coach.
Exactly. Yep. They have guys on that team that A, are not bad, and B, are not going to quit across any game. So you look at their starting five, they're actually a pretty decent team on paper, and they're playing above it. Similar to Cleveland. I don't think half the people realize that Donovan Mitchell's even on Cleveland. So they're not benefiting because it's Cleveland. And Darius Garland was out for a little bit with an eye injury. Now he's back. So I don't think people have caught up to that by any means. The other team outside of Milwaukee you mentioned was, real quick,
Portland. Yeah,
Portland, right. Like, people realize that Damian Lillard is back, but I don't think people realize that he is torching people. He's a beautiful three-point prop as well. So, and I think Milwaukee is kind of like, they're not getting the benefit that they should. Like, they should get the Brady benefit on a bet where it's like, hold on a second. The Bucks are the Bucks, like the Milwaukee Bucks, versus, oh, this is the game in which the Bucks are going to fail. I don't know.
But you talk about Utah. Utah's always been a good regular season team. You know, even when they had their star player, it's just in the playoffs where they fall apart and get exposed.
Right. But they trade away their top two guys who have led that. And
they're still good in the regular season. Yeah. Matt.
I was going to piggyback, actually, you talking about the Trailblazers. I really kind of like what they have going on there. I think Jeremy Grant was a great addition in the offseason that gets kind of overlooked, being that they're such a small market team. On the other hand, Anthony Simons has been absolutely incredible. He's kind of taking that next step that CJ McCollum was as Dame's sidekick type of deal. And if you watch him play, he actually has a lot of similarities to Damian Lillard, like in terms of his athleticism and his slashing. I'm going with him today, over 24.5 total points, rebounds, and assists. He's hit this line. He actually averages above this line in total. And he's hit this in the last 5 games straight. So I feel really comfortable going up against a high-paced team in the Hornets. I think that it's going to be really in his favor.
And that's Simons.
Yep, Anthony Simons.
Okay. Wasn't Jeremy Grant a Sixer once?
Yeah.
Yeah.
A long time ago in the process.
Yeah, he's seen a lot of teams, but he's found a role now, and they're moving.
Wow.
Not
all right.
bad.
Very good.
I'll hit you with one real quick. I don't know, Devin or Harry, what you have on the way out, but just to tail on that theme here, Brandon Ingram has gone over 1.5 threes in 3 straight games. They take on the Bulls. It's a little tougher on the perimeter, but the reality is he's getting plenty of looks. So you're getting him at plus 122 on FanDuel for a guy who's going to get plenty of opportunity and has gone over this number. In fact, here it comes, Harry. You can take him at over 1.5 at plus 122 and 3+ at plus 390 for a nice little 2-rung ladder.
Wow. Hopefully he doesn't shoot it like Zach Hicks did the other night for the Temple Owls. That's all I'll say about that.
No, I don't have to worry about that. Nothing could be that bad.
Anything else, Devin?
I got nothing. NBA, I'm still kind of like getting back into now that the season officially started for me once Phillies were over. So next time I'll come with more NBA stuff. I'm still kind of like getting my feet wet when it comes to basketball, though.
I'm going to throw out 2 for the golf tournament in Houston.
Oh, I forgot about that.
Yeah, Denny McCarthy plus 3,500 to win. I'll take
I
a
bet
shot
him.
with,
Good stuff. All right.
yeah, with him, and I'm going to take Joel Damon in the top 10 at plus 400.
Oh, look, you can't help yourself with a little Joel Damon. What is your deal with Joel Damon?
I love that guy, man. Are you kidding me?
What'd you get what's at? I got him at 35 to 1.
35 to 1. Yeah, McCarthy. Yeah,
All
plus 3,500. Yeah.
I'll tail your Denny there at 35 to 1. I got him at, look, I don't love the odds, but it's the field. Taylor Montgomery at 20 to 1.
20 to 1. I'd like to have more value there,
Me too.
but he's such a darn good putter and he smokes it off the tee. I think he's due to get a win soon.
These are my long shots that I also played at top 20. Sepp Straka at 70 to 1. And look, if this guy could just find an ounce of consistency in his golf bag.
Who?
Sepp.
Oh.
He's top 5 here in Houston already. Like, he's played well. He's played well already.
Well, he knows how to win.
Exactly. Yeah. He's just he's very inconsistent. Yeah. And then this is a long shot, but he fits every single metric of this tough, long Houston course at Memorial
Municipal
Park.
Course. Yeah.
Callum Tarrant.
Oh, Tarrant, the Englishman, right?
200 to 1.
There you go. That's
now,
a nice moonshot.
If that hits, I'll send you all a gift card.
All right, very good. All right, we'll see you all on Friday. Good luck with the Thursday night football bets, the NBA, and everything. We'll see you Friday.